Watch out.
Breaking news, the FBI is now investigating a shooting in West Palm Beach as an attempted assassination against former President Donald Trump. This would be a second time.
Man, they say Trump ain't got no love out here in the hood. What's up? What?
Man, we support Trump, man. Trump 2024.
What y'all like about Trump? I like the policies. I like when he stand on business. That's what I'm talking about.
That's it. He ain't weak.
But if that Trump get convicted of this crime and he can still run for president, I'm voting for his ass. I'm voting for that. I'm voting for him.
I ain't even like that with the politics, but boy, this gangster, can't lie to you. An ex-president with a mugshot.
Trump is a brother now. I'm sorry. You go to jail in Zone 6 Atlanta, you a brother.
So, former President Donald Trump was rushed to safety on September 15th, after what the FBI called an apparent assassination attempt at his golf course in West Palm Beach.
Breaking news, the FBI is now investigating a shooting in West Palm Beach as an attempted assassination against former President Donald Trump. This would be a second time. They arrested a suspect who fired shots near a golf course used by Trump. His campaign says he is safe and well.
This incident comes almost 2 months after a shooting at one of his rallies in Butler, Pennsylvania, where Trump was wounded and a supporter tragically lost their life.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's sad, take a look at what happened.
Now, political figures being attacked isn't exactly unheard of. Many have been targeted and some haven't survived. But somehow, Trump has managed to come out of both situations relatively unscathed. That alone has people talking, and videos are resurfacing that are starting to paint a bigger picture. It seems like Trump is gaining some serious street cred, possibly even more than some self-proclaimed gangster-rappers. Take that first assassination attempt, for example. After getting shot, Trump stood up and told the crowd to fight.
Watch out.
Now let's be real, most so-called gangsters would probably run for cover. But Trump? He stayed standing, which is wild when you think about it. Then there are all those times Trump's been straight savage to his political opponents.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
Or when he's gone head-to-head with world leaders, showing his strength and dominance.
Thank you very much.
He's even directly threatened some of the most powerful nations in the world, which only adds to this tough guy image he's cultivated.
The United States has great strength and patience, but if it is forced to defend itself or its allies, we will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea.
What's even more surprising, though, is how much love Trump gets from the streets. Trump is starting to gain so much respect in the hood that you can't believe it. Apparently, the idea is that, in a way, he's facing the same struggles people from the streets deal with, like getting locked up.
I ain't even like that with the politics, but boy, this gangster, can't lie to you. An ex-president with a mugshot.
Or beating charges and dodging actual shots from his ops.
Donald Trump says he's safe and well after reports of gunshots described to have been fired in his vicinity. Local officials in Palm Beach in Florida say it happened in the grounds of his golf course while he was playing.
So yeah, the hood has been rallying for him, and it's clear there's some real admiration there. See for yourself.
That's why I'm here to show my support as a black man for Trump. And I'm wearing my shirt for Trump 2024, and I mean that.
Man, they say Trump ain't got no love out here in the hood. What's up? What?
Man, we support Trump, man. Trump 2024.
What y'all like about Trump? I like the policies. I like when he stand on business. That's what I'm talking about.
That's it. He ain't weak.
It's not just talk either. He's even got connections with some of the known names in the rap game. Recently, rappers Sleepy Hallow and Chef G joined Trump on stage during a campaign rally in the Bronx.
Come on up, fellas. Rapper Sleepy Hallow.
One thing I want to say, they always gonna whisper your accomplishments and shout your failures. Trump gonna shout the wins for all of us.
And if you don't already know, these two Brooklyn rappers aren't just big names in the music world, they're also allegedly tied to the Crips. Both have been linked to numerous Brooklyn shootings and are involved in a 140-count gang indictment that includes charges like murder, attempted murder, and gun possession. Chef G, whose real name is Michael Williams, and Sleepy Hallow, aka Tegan Chambers, are said to be members of the 8 Crips and 9 Ways gangs. Together, they allegedly waged war on the Folk Nation, Gangster Disciples, and ICG Babiez, with the indictment attributing 12 shootings to their gangs, including the fatal shooting of Theodore Sr., also known as Sniper Blitzky, in October 2020. Williams has been accused of orchestrating and funding many of these Brooklyn shootings. There's even surveillance footage that supposedly shows him driving a getaway car during an April 2021 shooting in Flatbush. The shooting, which left a 53-year-old man and a 43-year-old woman injured, was said to be part of a revenge plot after someone from the Babiez gang shot at Williams' home in New Jersey. So, for Sleepy Hallow and Chef G, two guys deeply entrenched in street life, to publicly support Trump, that says a lot about the kind of credibility Trump has gained. Now, some would argue that Trump's street cred really took off last year when he turned himself in over criminal charges. But it wasn't just the arrest that got people talking. It was that iconic mugshot that changed everything. That single image flipped the entire narrative, almost like an unexpected plot twist. Trump's motorcade to jail wasn't met with protests. Instead, there was a diverse group of supporters cheering him on outside the Fulton County Jail. Some were even wearing bold, aggressive t-shirts showing their support.
That's why I'm here to show my support as a black man for Trump. And I'm wearing my shirt for Trump 2024, and I mean that.
But what really stood out, though, was how the internet reacted.
But if that Trump get convicted of this crime and he can still run for president, I'm voting for his ass. I'm voting for that. I'm voting for him.
I ain't even like that with the politics and but boy, this gangster, can't lie to you. An ex-president with a mugshot.
Trump is a brother now. I'm sorry. You go to jail in Zone 6 Atlanta, you a brother.
Suddenly, people who were either neutral or apolitical started gravitating toward Trump again, almost like it was 2015 all over. Before he was viewed as a political threat, Trump was everywhere, on TV shows like The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and in movies like Home Alone. Before his scene got cut in 2019, he was even the subject of a platinum-selling rap song. But as the cultural tides shifted, so did the narrative around him. However, after that mugshot dropped, the culture shifted again. For a lot of people, being arrested by what they saw as a corrupt system made Trump more relatable. Suddenly, he wasn't just a former president, he was someone who seemed to be fighting the system, and that resonated with people who felt marginalized or wronged themselves. It was almost comical watching the mainstream media realize this in real time, as Trump's image started to transform once again.
They must have thought about what look they wanted. He could have smiled. He could have looked benign. Instead, he looks like a thug.
And after surviving 2 assassination attempts, his street cred has only skyrocketed even further. Speaking of those assassination attempts, Trump was rushed to safety this past Sunday after what the FBI called an apparent attempt on his life. It all went down at the Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach, not far from his Mar-a-Lago residence. The situation unfolded as Secret Service agents were doing their routine security sweep, staying one hole ahead of Trump while he played golf. That's when they spotted something alarming. A rifle muzzle sticking out from the shrubbery. The gun, initially described as an AK-47 style rifle by County Sheriff Rick Bradshaw, was aimed in the direction of Trump, who was about 500 yards away from the potential shooter. One of the agents didn't hesitate and immediately engaged the gunman, who quickly fled the scene. As soon as the agents opened fire, 4 to 5 rounds, the suspect dropped the rifle and made a break for it, abandoning 2 knapsacks, a weapon scope, and a GoPro camera along with the gun. The gunman then jumped into a black Nissan and sped off, but not before a witness snapped a photo of the vehicle. That picture proved crucial, as law enforcement used it to track the suspect down.
To locate a witness that came to us and said, hey, I saw the guy running out of the bushes. He jumped into a black Nissan and I took a picture of the vehicle.
The police later apprehended the suspect, identified as Ryan Wesley Routh, as he was driving northbound on I-95 about 38 miles from Trump's golf course. So who exactly is this Ryan Routh? Well, it turns out that BBC Verify has uncovered social media profiles that match his name, and they paint quite a picture.
Suspect's demeanor I would describe as having a relatively calm, flat, affected, was not displaying a lot of emotion, never asked what is this about.
Apparently, Routh had been vocal online, calling for foreign fighters to join Ukraine in its fight against Russian forces.
Standing here with the Ukrainians, we should have millions of people in this square, filling the square from every country around the world. And why we don't, I don't understand.
His posts also show that he supported pro-Palestinian causes, stood in solidarity with Taiwan, and shared anti-China sentiments. Some of his posts even went as far as accusing China of biological warfare and referring to the COVID-19 pandemic as an attack. Even though Routh didn't have any actual military experience, he was deeply involved in recruitment efforts during the Russia-Ukraine conflict. According to a 2023 article in the New York Times, Routh had traveled to Ukraine right after Russia's invasion in 2022 to find Afghan soldiers who had fled the Taliban and recruit them to fight for Ukraine. As recently as this summer, he was still at it, posting on Facebook in July, "Soldiers, please do not call me. We are still trying to get Ukraine to accept Afghan soldiers and hope to have some answers in the coming months. Please have patience." But that's not all. Early reports indicate that Routh has a pretty extensive criminal record. According to CBS sources, he racked up multiple felony charges in Guilford County, North Carolina, between 2002 and 2010. His offenses range from carrying a concealed weapon and resisting arrest to driving with a revoked license, possession of stolen property, and even hit and run with a vehicle. Luckily, Trump wasn't hurt in this latest incident. After news broke about the assassination attempt, Trump's campaign team quickly confirmed that he was safe. Trump himself wasted no time addressing his supporters, sending out a message to his fundraising list. "There were gunshots in my vicinity, but before rumors start spiraling out of control, I wanted you to hear this first. I am safe and well." Trump later gave a first-hand account to Fox News' Sean Hannity, who shared the details on air. Hannity described how Trump was on the fifth hole, about to putt, when he suddenly heard pop, 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 pop. Within seconds, the Secret Service sprang into action, shielding the former president and whisking him away to safety in a steel-reinforced vehicle. The whole thing was over in a flash. Now, if you think about it, this is where Trump's reputation for toughness starts to gain even more weight. In the world of hip-hop, rappers often build their image by talking about how tough and gangster they are in their lyrics. They rap about being hard, surviving the streets, and not backing down from a challenge, but they have been caught slipping when it really mattered.
Let's start with Soulja Boy because he's no stranger to controversy. Back in 2017, he was beefing with Chris Brown and wanted to prove he was still respected in the streets. So he pulled up to the hood on IG Live, but things didn't go as planned. Soulja tried to put his arm around a guy, but the dude clearly wasn't feeling it and told Soulja to back off. Soulja put his phone down and looked like he was ready to square up, but the video cut off before anything significant happened.
Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, Souls ain't from the hood.
Hey,
That's like Souls ain't from the hood.
Get off me though. Get off me though.
What's happening, bro? What's going on?
That's not the only time Soulja Boy got checked. In 2019, a video surfaced showing Casanova confronting him at SiriusXM. Apparently, Soulja had yelled at a lady before the video started, and Casanova wasn't having it. Soulja's security tried to de-escalate the situation, and luckily nothing serious went down. Then there's 6ix9ine, who had a notorious run-in with some Florida goons. On March 21st, 2023, 6ix9ine was working out at an LA Fitness in Florida when the goons spotted him, followed him into the bathroom, and started jumping him. The attack was on site, and many rappers had something to say afterward. Boozy posted, "LMAO snitches get stitches," while other rappers laughed and joked about the situation. Also, there are the wannabe gangsters who got put in their place by real gangsters, like this wannabe gangster who thought he could run his mouth and disrespect the dead online until he got checked by the deceased's own family. This guy was clearly feeling himself, trying to chase clout and acting like a big shot on social media. He even dropped a diss track and uploaded the video on Instagram, thinking he'd get some fame out of it.
I'm smoking on. This is rocks to the floor.
But it didn't take long before reality caught up to him. He posted another video saying he got confronted by the dead person's family for all the trash he was talking. And let's just say, he didn't keep that same tough guy energy when they rolled up on him.
Who you smoking on? You still smoking on Mikey? No.
I'm smoking on my own dead homies.
I'm smoking on my own dead homies. Who your dead homies? Matter of fact, who your grandpa? You smoking on grandpa? Yeah, bro. You smoking on grandpa? Yeah, bro.
They were so pissed at this fake gangster that they even made him lick the bottom of their shoe just to humiliate him. Luckily for him, they didn't go further than that and just made him apologize. Things could have gotten a lot worse because dissing the dead is a serious offense in the streets. You'd think he'd learn his lesson, but it turns out he's not the only one who's had to face the consequences of his actions. Next up, we got this dude named GBO Gaston, who thought it was cool to disrespect dead celebrities for attention. This guy went way out of line after Nipsey Hussle passed away. He started claiming he was the one who took Nipsey out and even went so far as to throw a cup of urine on Nipsey's mural.
Dead home where I'm at. You see the time and all that, 7:40 on a dead home. You see the piss, finna throw piss on a dead homie's cut. Look, piss on cuz.
As if that wasn't enough, he allegedly showed up at Nipsey's grave just to disrespect him again. Gaston was originally a Minecraft YouTuber, but when his channel wasn't blowing up like he wanted, he decided to switch gears and start trolling on social media. He thought acting gangster would get him the attention he craved, but all it did was make people tired of his antics. Videos started popping up showing what happens when someone who's really about that life catches him slipping. In one video, someone spotted him on the street and tried to press him. Instead of standing his ground, Gaston ran straight into a police station to escape. Another video showed a guy catching up with Gaston and forcing him to apologize for all the disrespect he showed Nipsey.
Don't be dissing, man. You diss the gang, I know, man. That's the piece of all the. Say sorry, bro.
I'm sorry, bro. All my sins.
But Gaston's problems didn't end there. A few weeks later, some Hoovers caught him out on the streets and gave him a serious beatdown. They'd had enough of his trolling and decided to teach him a lesson the hard way. Maybe now Gaston will realize that clout chasing and acting tough online can have real-life consequences. Hopefully he goes back to making gaming videos like he originally did before he crosses the wrong person and things get even more out of hand. Then there's this other guy who thought he could act all tough with a store employee, assuming the employee wouldn't do anything back. He was talking big, trying to intimidate someone just doing their job, but that was a mistake.
Hey, I got something to blow your head off. Come with. You better do better than that. You better do better than that with that.
Within seconds, a bigger dude showed up behind him and put him in his place. Despite trying to act all hard, this wannabe gangster quickly changed his tune once the real threat was right in his face. Suddenly, it was like nothing had ever happened, and he tried to pretend like he wasn't just running his mouth a moment earlier.
Bro, I will break your real proper. Look at up. You ain't gonna lie about me. I'll fold your fucking.
Next up, we have D-Dog. This dude was out walking down the street with one of his boys when some guy with a camera comes up, trying to act like he's all tough, talking about how he's a street guy and a chain snatcher.
I'm a real street. What about? What does that mean?
I like your chain.
What that mean?
I'm the original chain. I'm the original chain snatcher.
All right.
I'm a real street.
All right.
D-Dog and his friend weren't having any of it, so they just started to walk away. But the camera guy kept following them, still running his mouth. That's when D-Dog stopped and told the dude he was painted, which is basically street talk for marked or targeted. As soon as he realized that D-Dog and his homie were serious and not playing any games, the wannabe tough guy quickly switched up his whole act. Claiming he was just a comedian trying to laugh it off, he figured out real quick that he was messing with the wrong crowd.
It's a prank. I'm a comedian, doc. Hey, no, much love. Much love. Oh, no, God bless you. Martin Luther King. Bro, I love you, brother. No, I'm not a comedian.
And honestly, D-Dog is the last person anybody should be trying to mess with. This guy's got a serious reputation. He got arrested for murder at just 14 years old, and more recently, he's been charged in an attempted murder case from back in 2018. When the cops tried to arrest him for that, D-Dog led them on a high-speed chase that ended in a crash, tragically killing his friend who was in the passenger seat. They found guns and a ski mask in the car, and now he's sitting in jail on a whopping $19.7 million bond. It's a good thing the wannabe gangster backed off when he did, because who knows what would have gone down if he kept acting tough with someone like D-Dog. Now, let's move on to another wannabe who thought he was all that, but it didn't quite go as planned. This guy was trying to prove he was some kind of killer, a real street dude. He was probably hoping to intimidate the guy in the white jacket, but the dude in the white jacket wasn't impressed at all. So seconds later, the wannabe tough guy grabs the other guy and says he's gonna walk him out of the building.
Oh man, I'm gonna walk you out, bro. Hold on, I'm gonna walk you out, man. I know something, bro.
You'd think he was about to do something serious, but that turned out to be a mistake. Next thing you know, he gets smacked up, and just like that, his whole vibe changes. He goes from acting hard to looking like he doesn't want any more trouble, clearly realizing he's not cut out for the street life he's been pretending to live. Moving on, we got this guy from New York trying to act gangster by picking on an old man outside of his apartment. He probably thought he was gonna look tough in front of everyone. He walked up to the old dude and started talking big, saying he was gonna smoke him, and even swung at him for no reason.
Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. I will punch you out here.
The old man was just minding his business and clearly didn't know why he was getting picked on. But as soon as the wannabe gangster went inside the apartment, some real street dudes pressed him. They saw what he was doing and weren't having it. The wannabe quickly changed his tune, telling them he didn't want any problems. He knew he'd met his match and could have gotten seriously hurt.
What's up? Why you picking on the old man for? Why you picking on the old man for? It could have been your fault. You bug out. Now look at you, scared in the hole.
But this isn't the only time a fake tough guy got checked for messing with someone weaker. There was this other dude who thought he'd look cool by picking on a disabled guy, throwing punches like he was some kind of big shot, but some real ones saw what he was doing and decided to step in. They confronted him, and things got heated fast. They argued back and forth for a while, but then the wannabe gangster decided to swing on one of them, and that's when all hell broke loose. An all-out brawl erupted, and he definitely found out the hard way that he wasn't as tough as he thought. Anyway, the investigation into the assassination attempt on Trump's life is already underway, and more details will come out as things unfold.